Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today is the Itty Crochet Boomerang Shawl. Try saying that 3 times fast. So what we have here, this is another design by Michelle Moore of Sentry Box Designs, designed for Sugar Bush yarns. It is featuring the Sugar Bush itty bitty yarn just like you see here. It's variegated as you see, and it's a really beautiful yarn just like you see. So it's 65% fine superwash merino, 25% nylon, 10% cashmere. So it's a beautiful yarn to make this particular shawl. So what we're gonna have today is that we're gonna have 2 pieces that are going to come together in order to make this happen. So this is an asymmetrical design. Let's take a look at the diagram next. So on page number 2, this is the diagram for making the shawl itself. This is a trim. We'll get to that in a second. So we're gonna start off at the very base right here, and we're gonna get ourselves really much bigger as we go. And this is an asymmetrical design. So this is one tip of the shawl, and we're gonna work our way all the way outward. I'm only gonna show you just a small sample because the repeat pattern to grow is actually really quite simple. So you want to consider this to be in the repeat pattern just like you see. So I essentially assume at this point in the pattern is that 1 and 3, if you look at this design here over with your trim, that will equal one of these. So you want to consider yourself to think that each one of these double crochets is essentially a section of the trim just like you see over here. So you want to be able to match those out, and we will get to that in just a moment. So you're going to grow that out. So let's talk about the trim next. So the trim is a separate piece of unit, and what we're going to do is that we're going to just chain out here, and we're going to work our way to make this bigger. So you can see that there is different colors of lines as we work our way through the instructions. So we're just gonna work our way and go, and then at the end of this we're going to then trace it down here with these, and you're gonna use that then to sew it to the edge of your shawl just like you see here. So it's actually 2 pieces that are making this. This kind of reminds me of the fleur-de-lis a little bit, and I think it's a really great look for the end of your shawl. So it's kind of a really refined look. So without further ado, let's get our yarn, and you'll need a 5.5 millimeter size eye crochet hook, recommending Sugar Bush Itty Bitty, and you will have a great time I think making this shawl. So let's begin to do that next. So let's begin today, and I'm recommending Itty Bitty. I'm using Caron 1 pound with a 5.5 millimeter size eye crochet hook today because I only have 1 ball of Itty Bitty here in stock today. So I'm just going to show you just a small sample. Itty Bitty by Sugar Bush is a really nice beautiful yarn, so I prefer to use it for an entire project than just a little piece. So what we have here is that we are going to chain a total of 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now what you want to do, second chain from the hook, I want you to single crochet. So just 1, and then come to the next one, 2, and the third one is a charm. So that was row number 1. Turn your work, let's do row number 2. So we're gonna chain up 3, counts as a double crochet, and the next one is gonna be 1 double crochet by itself. And here's the fabulous thing, whenever it's a row and it's a double crochet, the final one will always be 3 double crochets. So if you can remember that, that's awesome. So we're gonna go 1, 2, and 3. And so that was row number 2. Let's turn our work, and then let's begin row number 3. So row number 3, always gonna start off the same way. So when it's a single crochet row, here's how it's gonna start. You're gonna chain up 1, and the very first one is gonna have 3 single crochets. So we got 1, 2, and 3. And then what you want to do is that the remaining are gonna be 1 single crochet except for the very final 2. And the very final 2 here, you're gonna put those 2 together. So just put your hook in, pull through, and in the last one, which is the turning chain, in, pull through, and pull through all 3, and you just made 2 together. So let's go through the repeat one more time. So turn your work. It's a double crochet row. So you're gonna chain up 4, counts as a double crochet, and you're gonna double crochet in each one all the way to the end. So we have 1, and I'm not even gonna count because I don't need to, but what I want to do is pay attention to the very last single crochet that exists, which is coming up next, and that one will always have 3 double crochets in it. Okay, so this will happen every time it's a double crochet row. Then you're gonna turn and do the next row. So this is number 5. So it's always gonna start off the same. So chain up 3, and in the first one you want to put 3 singles. So 1, 2 and 3, and now you're gonna single crochet all the way to the end except for the very final 2, and in the very final 2 you'll put the last 2 together. So just pulling it apart. So these 2 will come together. So I got one more to go before I get there. So this one, pull through, and the next one pull through, and then pull through 2. And this is how your growth is gonna be. So turn your work, so you'll chain up 3 double crochet all the way over. The last one you'll put in 3 double crochets to finish. You'll turn your work again, and you'll chain up 1, 3 single crochets in the first one, 1 single crochet in each of them except for the very final 2. You'll put 2 together. You're gonna continue that until it gets to 109 stitches across, or to when you're satisfied with the width of this particular shawl. And then what you want to do is that you want to finish off so that you end up with the last row being double crochet at the very end. So the last row should be double crochet. So without further ado, I'm going to just put this aside now, and I'm gonna show you how to do the trim work. So the trim work is completely separate from the project, and you have to sew that onto the edge of your shawl at the end, and just use a whip stitch in order to do that. So what we're gonna have is that I'm gonna start you off, and then we're gonna just come up. So we're gonna chain up 5, and then we're just gonna complete the shawl configuration, and then we're gonna start around and then come in. So use the colors to help you determine what rows that you're on, but once you get yourself established, I think that'll be get really quite easy. And then what you want to do is kind of line these up towards your project to see how the distance. If you wanted to customize, you just make a longer trim, and etc. So let's begin doing the trim. To do the trim work, we're going to start off with the slip knot. Just use an extra long tail, then you can sew that in afterward. So let's begin. We're going to chain a total of 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now in the very first one, so 4 chain from the hook, I want you to put in 2 double crochet. So 1 and 2, and then I want you to chain 2, and in the same one I want you to put in 3 double crochet. So 1, 2 and 3. So now we're gonna begin that fun configuration that has the nice edging. So let's begin that fun configuration. So I want you to chain a total of 2. So 1 and 2, and I want you to pinch the second one. Now I want you to chain a total of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and it's gonna be 6 in a second. So 6. Right where I'm pinching, I want you to come to the next one that's right above your thumb, and I want you to slip stitch into that one. Then I want you to chain 7. So right where this one is already joined is where you're gonna come back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and right where the other one's joined, just slip stitch again. And now this time chain only 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then right where the other 2 are slip stitch, slip there again. So you see that you chained 6 the first side, you chained 7 on this side, and then you changed 5 on this side. So now chain 2, so 1 and 2, and just flip this so that you can see the top of this piece over here. Okay, just see that, sorry. And now you're going to put in 3 double crochet. Once you understand how to flip that the first time, the rest of them come easy. So 1, 2 and 3, and then chain 2 and then 3 more double crochet. So 1, 2 and 3, and there is technically your trim. So turn your work. So it shows you doing slip stitches, so we need to get ourselves back here. So we're just gonna slip stitch ourselves back to that position, to the chain 2 space, and we're gonna begin one more time. Okay, so I'm in the chain 2 space. Let's do it again. So you're gonna chain up 3 and put in 2 more double crochet into the same one. Now you're going to chain 2 and put 3 more double crochet into the same one. Now do you remember how to do that fun stuff? So here we go again. So chain 2, 1 and 2 and pinch, and then do 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and the one that's just above where I'm pinching is where you're going to slip stitch. Now chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and right where the other one's already joined, slip stitch it and do the last one. It's gonna be chaining a 5. So 1, oops, I gotta apply there, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then slip stitch it right where the other one is, and now chain 2. So 1 and 2, and then just make sure that when you do this that you're just gonna end up at the top of the next one. So you're gonna put in 3 double crochet. So 1, 2 and 3, and chain 2 and then 3 back into there. So all you're just gonna do is you're gonna keep doing that so that you get to the width of what you need for your particular shawl, just like you see there. Once you get to the total width that you need, at the end when you're satisfied, you don't fasten off at all. What you're going to do is that you immediately from this point chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and in the top of this section over here you are going to apply a single crochet and then do 1, 2, 3, and top of the next one single crochet and 1, 2, 3, and etc. all the way back to the very start, and you're going to use that then as you're sewing. So you'll sew this to the edge of your shawl so that you will have your nice beautiful edging, and then with the wet with the damp cloth leaving it to dry flat, you will have this beautiful trim that will be on the bottom of your shawl, and I think that it's really quite amazing. So on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com, please enjoy your new shawl. I think this is an amazing design and I think you'll have fun, and this is kind of a neat trim idea, something that you may use later in the future. Till next time, see ya.